disclosure, today is one of those days where you don't feel like a champion. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but maybe sometime you have experienced that there are days where everything goes perfectly right and everything you do absolutely goes your way. Then there are other days where you do not understand what the universe has against you. I started cleaning out the office because this weekend we actually started looking at our PCS paperwork. PCS is permanent change of station, which means that we're moving. It's about 4 weeks away. We still can't schedule anything. So let me give you a parenthesis here. We can't schedule anything because everything has to be with my husband's orders. Without his orders, he can't schedule shipping the car. He can't schedule picking up our household goods. He can't schedule something for me medically that I need to do some sort of screening until he has that paperwork, and that's completely out of his hands. So today, he's gonna try and nudge some people like, hey, this is happening. Still waiting, and some of these appointments say preferably 3 months before moving. We're only 4 weeks out. Whew. Whew. All right, guys, kind of late. My husband actually got home at around 6-ish, and this is all he's been doing. I feel bad for him. I love you. This is our PCS binder. This is something I'm going to discuss in a later video when I actually have it all ready to go. Since he's working with it, I don't think I'm actually going to touch it. He might bite me. This is my original PCS binder. I did this when we were moving from New York to Hawaii, because when we were moving from Puerto Rico to New York, which was our first move, I was very ignorant. And even though I did the online classes and everything, I did not realize that a military move was so stressful, required so much paperwork. It gets complicated if things don't go a certain way. So in our first move, I actually lost my wedding dress. I lost my graduation ring from my bachelor's degree. I lost a whole bunch of gold jewelry, as well as my first quilt from my freshman year of college, and a whole bunch of other stuff that I don't even want to mention. Those were the most valuable, but what happened was that we were told the movers would come pack everything for us, and because I was living in an apartment, but my driver's license showed my parents' address, when he registered me to move with him, they would only go to where my license showed that I lived. So I packed up what I could from my apartment, but the movers packed up the stuff at my parents' house, did a lousy job at it, and nobody had any experience about surveilling and making sure everything was okay. So I received a broken bin, which was actually, what did he call it? Basically, he just made a note of it that the mover actually acknowledged that that was broken and obviously things were lost. But I didn't get to claim anything because that's around the time that I was starting to have my first flares, not knowing I had Crohn's disease, and was trying to manage it with medication I had for irritable bowel syndrome. It was a mess. It was a very lousy, messy first 4 months of marriage. Terrible, but we were still strong as a couple. He's filling out some paperwork that only he can fill out, so I would help if I could, but that's all military stuff. My stuff is the medical side, which I will be walking you through as I get my screening and all the other paperwork, and I'll show you the other document that I already filed and updated with the Office for Medical Needs here with the military.
Oh, not fun. It's raining on me. That's fine. Note to self, carry an umbrella.
Couple things. No, this is not that I was sleeping, even though yes, I was sleeping, but that's pencil. I'll explain in a second. Let's start with one thing at a time. I got an email from UPS that my medicine for next week was delivered, and yet again, nobody rang the doorbell, nobody knocked on the door. Apparently they just left the package. Yep, and there it is. I'm gonna need both hands, so give me 1 sec. Lali, entra. Mau. Ven. Entra. Muy bien. Second thing, what you see on my face is pencil. It's actually eyebrow pencil that I was using to do this face paint. I was doing the Celtic one today. This is, in case you haven't seen it, my Entyvio infusion medication. If you've been watching for a while, then you've seen this unboxing before, you can go ahead and forward the video. But for those of you who have not seen this, I'm gonna show you what comes in this package. Probably not everything that used to arrive because we are moving. They know it's my last infusion here in Hawaii, so they might not send supplies. But anyway, here is my documentation. There's an inventory of what is in here. Nurses use this to check their inventory on their tablet and then make sure that everything matches. Then there's a foam fridge inside the box that came in the mail. Here we go. So at the very top we have this bag. I want to make sure that my name isn't on there anywhere. Oh, they sent some more supplies. So this says it's a pinch clamp or something with a pinch clamp. Okay, so I got 1, 2, 3. Why? I got 3 of those. I got one of these things. I really need to learn these names. I got 2 actually. This is surprising. They know I'm leaving. One of these, very helpful. Got, 4? Got 4. Then I got some syringes. I think this is what they use to mix the medication. Then we got needles. Underneath that is anaphylaxis medication. I think there was a mistake here because I already had my anaphylaxis medication sent to me because the other one expired. I think they must have looked at a different inventory sheet, but I'm not complaining. That's gonna stay with me anyway. And then here's my medication. You get an IV bag, you get the medication itself, and we covered my information here. This is the Entyvio vial, and this is sterile water. They mix the medication in this, they let it sit for a couple of minutes, and then they inject it into the IV bag. I always put it in there to make sure that it doesn't fall and break because then we'd be in really big trouble. Woo. Oh my gosh, what a day. I wasn't planning on vlogging today, especially with the way the day was going, but goodness. I had to show you and I have to share with you because you might be going through this too one day and I don't want it to catch you by surprise if you are a military family. And if you already have been a military family for a while, then you're already really familiar with what I'm about to tell you. But today was just really one of those days where you wonder what in the world is happening because it wasn't only a military family thing, it was also a home business thing, it was a health related thing, it was so many things and just piled one on top of the other that my husband and I decided to treat ourselves because today was rough. So we got Costco cookies. I don't care, no keto today or tomorrow, just whatever. My husband also got a box of Legos that I'm going to show you later when we get home. And what else did we get? A basket of Godiva? We say Godiva in Spanish. A Godiva chocolates. We just said, forget it. We want this. We've held off for quite some time and we're just going to have it because we deserve it. He needed to get some things from the commissary before he leaves tomorrow, so I thought I'd be showing you the stuff we got while I vented / ranted / shared experiences with you, but let's just do this now. One of the most hurtful things for me was the fact that you guys already know my beauty and skincare home business is having a slow month, which is perfectly normal. But now my other home business, which was doing so great and was actually my main source of income, took a really big hit. Because schools in Hawaii started opening up again, 2 of my students are now off my schedule, which leaves me with 2 other students who only do homework help. The other 2 students I had were doing actual lessons, so that was a really good chunk of my money. So I'm happy for them. They're going back to school, they're gonna see their friends, and they're gonna move forward with academics. It's just, no work for me. What really set off today was that our moving date got pushed back again. Seriously, this is probably around the 4th time, because you guys know that we found out in May my husband was gonna go to another school. Then in July, around July time,
we found out that we would be moving between 2 to 3 months. So we were pretty much calculating between end of September, mid-October. We were also trying to play around with my infusion so I wouldn't have to travel when I was immediately, like just recently immunosuppressed, excuse me. Today my husband tells me that we are actually leaving between November 30th and mid-December, which really just, I lost my cool. Completely, flat out, lost my cool. I lost it. I wasn't really yelling at my husband because it's through no fault of his own that all this is happening, but you know how the closest people to you are the ones who get your wrath. Unfortunately, that was him. I can only hold on for so much. I have my limit just like any other person, and when you tell me for the fourth stinking time we're leaving in 2 to 3 months, I don't know how to take that anymore. So yes, we will be leaving after Thanksgiving, which was definitely not in our plans. We weren't even going to decorate for Halloween, thinking they were going to pick up our stuff sometime mid-October. Apart from today, these past couple of days and weeks have just seemed so heavy. Because you guys know, he's leaving tomorrow and I have my infusion Monday. I still haven't found an infusion buddy. And while, yeah, it's not absolutely necessary for an infusion buddy because it's a home infusion, so it's not like I have to drive anywhere. It's not like I'm gonna need assistance for anything. You know, I don't really need an infusion buddy. It's just nicer if there's somebody there sitting with you through this thing that you're gonna be doing every 8 weeks for the rest of your life. It's nice to have someone there so you don't feel so alone, especially with my husband gone for a week, when you're feeling so crummy.
Bye, honey.
Bye, Bonnie. Okay.
What up, man?
I'm pooped. As you saw this morning, I dropped off my husband for a week. It's called PTA. He goes, if you haven't seen this before, you're new to my vlog, my husband goes for 1 week to the Big Island to provide medevac support, I believe it is. I don't have all the details. I remember that yesterday I told you that I was gonna show you all the things that we got. I definitely did not do that because my husband had to not only pack all of his things, oh, hang on, but he also had to fill out some paperwork. Then he had to take care of one of his soldiers who had an inspection today and had lost something, so he was gonna lend that to him. I'm not entirely sure that I can say that. I'm not saying who it was or who he's lending it to or what he was lending, so let's just leave that there. And on top of all that, he had schoolwork to do because he's finishing his undergraduate degree. Technically, he did finish his undergraduate degree regarding credits, but this is an institutional flaw where he went to school. If you don't finish your practice hours, then you don't get your degree. I mean, I kind of get it if it were laws or medicine, but this was aviation, and they had 2 licenses that were really just completely irrelevant to what he was studying. I don't agree with it, and rightfully so. They actually changed the program after he left Puerto Rico, which was a real heartbreaker for him because then people who had less credits than him and less flight hours ended up getting their degrees. But here, let me show you what we got yesterday. I told you we got a Godiva gift basket. We've already torn into it. I'm not gonna promote it or anything, so I'm just letting you know we got it, and there were a lot of goodies inside. The other thing that we got, well, my husband got, was this. He's a huge Lego freak and loves building things and recreating things or places we've been to from memory. So he can't wait to tear into that when he gets back. This is probably gonna seem so silly to you guys, but instead of Legos and chocolate, this was what I got for me. There we go. I got grades pre-K, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th because kinder wasn't there. But I got the Brain Quest series. I didn't get 5th and 6th grade because I haven't had any students in those grades for 4 years probably or more. And my husband found this for me. I can't wait to read all these stories. I know that I'm not reading my Harry Potter book, but since this is a new book and stories I haven't read before, I think I'll be more motivated to read this one than reread Harry Potter. So can't wait.